everybody, and welcome back to Europa Universalis 5 here with the Kingdom of Bulgaria. It is February 1382. We are going to continue right on with the Bulgarian series, knowing that that 1.1 patch is coming out, so I might, restart because I do like playing with the most up-to-date patch and the patch notes. Ooh, well, who is this? The Jackery? Council Guillaume Kale? Interesting. So France has kind of been broken up even more. Sorry about that. I get easily distracted sometimes. You can see in our attempt to look at our laws and cultures there, we did lose a lot of stability as we were down to just 5, although we gained 0.24 monthly. But what I was trying to say is I like playing with the most up-to-date patch, and I know sometimes that leads to saves being unstable. Hopefully that will not be the case because I really am enjoying my time as Bulgaria. But we'll have to wait and see as we finally have hit the billion person mark. We are building our royal court, we're building our charcoal kiln, we are still trying to integrate South Oltetia. Oh dear. Measles are now affecting our country. I knew I should have built a hospital. We're trying to crack down on the commoner's insurance negative 0.24. We are also building our first library in Plovdiv. And we're at 60.69% in integrating South Oltetia, which will be done on the 1st of July, right currently anyway, 1399. We still do have King Ivan Alexander Stratzimir, who is 24 years old. We are 3 years away from another trade besides Babbling Buffoon. Our eldest son, Nicola, is 7, and our younger son, Michael Austin II, is 5. Our 2 cabinet officials are Ivan Alexander Stratzimir. There for a while, that's what every royal person or dynasty was called. And then we also have Todor Stratzimir. Again, we do have the Mongolian patriots, the Nogai patriots, the Moldovan patriots, the nobility insurgents, the Bulgarian slave uprising, and the commoners. We are working on a spy network in Serbia, a spy network in Wallachia, a spy network in the Byzantine Empire. Now, in Wallachia, we actually have enough of a spy network. However, we discovered we don't have apparently a casus belli. Now, we can create a casus belli against Serbia because they are a rival. And we create a casus belli here. We do not have a diplomat available to perform that action. Okay. And I don't even know, right, how much of the Byzantine Empire is going to be left, if anything, since the Turks have basically occupied everything but Constantinople, which I would imagine they're trying to siege down. I mean, I can't see it, but I would imagine that's what they're trying to do. We are making we have 290.41 ducats. We're making 15.53 currently. We are making a little bit more than that, but then we got hit by the measles. The nobility at 40.22% and the burghers at 49.39% are both unhappy. Our buildings are actually profitable. Ternau is 40 months away from RGOs, and we have a truce with the Golden Horde of Lechia, which will expire in 1386, so in 4 years. We need pearls, and then the Constantinople market also needs sturdy grains. We were making around 17 ducats a month, but we did increase our spending on our stability as well as on our forts. Now, we still are not spending a lot of money on our forts, right? You can see it's 4.5. I mean, that is a decent amount, but... And we're also not spending a ton on our court. So our expenses are going to continue to rise. Now, hopefully, both the library... Yeah, we know measles, right? Right, we know. Hopefully both the library and in terms of helping our innovations and the royal court here, which is going to help our counselors' ability and our crowd power, have benefits. I would like to continue to try to build up our economy, but building up a library does make sense. We're not a library, but a hospital, especially if diseases are going to start running rampant again. We are not gaining any soldiers or manpower, right? We are gaining zero because we do have the 2 infantry regiments and then the 1 cavalry regiment. I mean, and I really do like how the game works that. Um, I can't declare Wallachia as a rivalry, so it seems like I'll just be declaring them as a non-casus belli war. We are down to 50th, which I don't totally understand, but I mean, because we're up to almost 8,500 levies, we still have 250 regiments. Our income is holding kind of steady. I mean, we're not growing, and I can understand that, like other countries might be growing. Oh, France is the best. Denmark is kind of holding steady. If I did start over, it would be either as Denmark or Scotland, I think. Denmark because, well, that's where my family is from. Comment cited the people of our kingdom have always been superstitious. Oh, dear Lord. The appearance of a comet in the sky has caused panic among them. They are convinced this is a sign that the end of times is near or that something terrible is going to happen in the near future. You're right. Something terrible is going to happen. You know what it is? You're going to cause me to get negative stability. You're 100% right. So, and again, like, I know I talk about this a lot, but I do also am aware of the fact, or am also aware of the fact that, played at 2 times speed, right? This is episode like 16 or something like that. And we've played less than 50 years. So again, about 2 years an episode, which I know in about a 400-year period would be about 200 episodes, which nobody really probably wants to see. So in a weird way, like, and I said this, I think, in the last episode, this kind of is like I'm just an archive. I mean, I do want views. I do appreciate every view. I appreciate every like. I appreciate every single comment. I appreciate every single viewer. I just and I'm tired. I will not continue to apologize episode after episode, but I just feel like for me the immersion aspect of the game, right, requires a little bit of this slower pace, just because. Oh, measles again? Yep. Okay. I mean, thankfully, it's not too drastically impacted by a country at the moment. Again, we do have the road to Castenza now. I'd like to be the Royal Court. Hopefully, if I get that 2%, right, both of these will speed up a little bit. I think once we get to June, we'll look at our economy and see what theoretically might be a very profitable building for us. We have another son. So we have 3 sons to Ivan Alexander. We'll go with Stefan. Saffron from Tarnay over to Krakow, or is that unprofitable? That really does fluctuate quite a bit. I did have my meltdown, of course, about the artist situation, but it does make sense, right? That you have to try to patronize the arts in order to get, more Renaissance themed, artists like that. That does make sense. It just kind of frustrating at the same time. And there were also modifiers earlier in the series where I could have chosen to have an artist come in, but because we didn't have much money, I was just like, eh. So, what was our high water mark as a population, just out of curiosity? 1.2 million. Okay, so we're over a million. We have built our royal palace now. No, a hospital would cost 138. That's 139 essentially, right? So let's go into the production buildings. Doesn't look like they're saying a whole lot of profitability there. We have 1,100 burgers, however, here in the capital. A tailor's guild, they think would make the most. That is interesting. 1.25 ducats. Yeah. Certainly, by goods balance, we actually have a little bit of dyes. We're still missing the wild game. We still don't have coal. Although the charcoal kiln should help with that. So our royal court gives us 2% efficiency of cabinet, 10% crown power, 0.57 ducats a month in terms of maintenance. So we are trying to build a tailor's guild in Tarnovo because we thought that was going to be by far the most profitable. Serbia has joined the Patriarch of Constantinople. I mean, that's disappointing. Wallachia is allied with Halich. See, legumes, livestock, lumber, wool, livestock. Sturdy grains, fiber crops, medicaments, iron, livestock, salt, lumber. Interesting. And that would actually be taking their capital, so I don't know that we'd. Bucharest. It only has 10,000 people, which is kind of surprising. I would have thought Bucharest would have more people than that. So I'm curious as to seeing if this actually increases what we're able to do as a cabinet, although it doesn't really look like it has. And so, while we can declare war, um, it would cost us 22 stability. Monasteries flourish in Visiev. The Bishop of Vaidin reports that the local monasteries are growing at an unprecedented speed. The estates of a local monastery in Visiev have in fact grown so big and are so well kept that they have become the envy of our local administrator. The governor has become entangled in a conflict with the monks over where exactly the demarcation between their lands and those of the kingdom goes. The time has come for our central authorities to step in and settle the dispute. Helping the monastery would undoubtedly secure their gratitude, but this could also be an opportunity to get all the more land for the state. Yeah, we'll just make the priests more happy. Dear God, thank you. Like, I kept hitting it and it kept saying, no, we're not giving you anything. I was trying to get to 0.3 stability since we were negative stability, right? Now, Nikopol's going to have a charcoal kiln. Which we don't actually need worker. I mean, it tells me I need workers, but which is going to help us produce coal. And that was actually supposed to be a very profitable building as well. And Chevron, 298. And how many people do we have there? 13,000. Cargo Visti, 14,000. Schumann, 13. Roos, 12. Drastar, 20. Okay. I mean, you know what? I think we will build a tools guild. I don't. We have advanced the organized army march, which gives us the following benefits. Armies become increasingly more complex advantages. They are less reliant on levies. A key aspect of this is a better organization of the armies as they march, allowing the troops to be more prepared and ready when a battle occurs. Army morale recovery speed +1. Absolutely. Tool guild. So we are going to focus a little bit on the economic side of things here. Just trying to trying to think of the right way to say it. I mean, obviously, grow the economy, make more money monthly, right, to allow for better buildings and all of that. But also, hopefully, really, hopefully, when we do get to the point where we're able to export more, we're going to stop this, right? Yeah. We no longer build a spy network there. We can stop building a spy in Wallachia. Somehow we still don't have a diplomat for this. That's interesting. Even with those two, well, they might not be back into the country yet, so that's fair. Right, that's fair. They may not be back in the country yet. Slivin. Cathedral. It helps with literacy, but well, the only thing that we have right now that's really making money is the fine cloth, which is kind of interesting. Although the brewery there is making a little bit. Okay, carpenter a little bit. Jewelers Guild here would make 0.28, which isn't a lot of money, but it's something. Yeah, I don't feel like we're actually cracking down harder. I mean, he's already employed, and he's the best one we have in terms of militarily. We just don't. We don't have great cabinet advisors after the last two died, unfortunately. I don't want to keep building Fight Club because we don't have that much dot. Like, we have dies, but not that much. Now, a wharf would give us sailors, trade capacity, harbor capacity, can build ships, which we definitely would want. Naval supplies, ironically, would give us no money on the coast, which is just kind of funny because I feel like that's where building naval supply. Well, I mean, you don't need to build a naval supplies there. That's fair, but that's fair. Like you don't have to build naval supplies on the coastline. Um, man, another tailor's guild just with crazy amounts of money. Saffron, yeah. Sometimes it's profitable, sometimes it's not. A brewery, okay. Papermakers Guild would make 0.23. That would also take dyes, though. So, like I said, there's just weaponsmith 0.3, apothecary. Mercury, and well, we don't have ivory, but we also don't have wild game. Well, that's something we could do, right? We could build a bailiff. I think somewhere down here we have wild game. There we go. And Bedine. So we'll build that because we're short the wild game, anyways. But then also, I say we might produce some more gold and silver as well. Uh, if we were going to build the medicaments, which I think the hospital would need, correct? Yeah, not very many actually, but it would need some. I'm surprised it doesn't need more than that, but okay. It still says we don't have a diplomat. That's really interesting. Okay. pepper and pearls. Do we have any medicine currently in the country? Okay, we do. Yeah, C dies. Although wild game is the biggest issue, but I'm trying to see what like we're actually. So per level we put 1.07. Okay. The peasant levy, we're at 17%. So that'll be a law. A peasant levy is formed by commoners summoned for military service by their lord. The better ready to bring their own equipment to battle, so the quality of newly created units can vary greatly. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, we're down to 248 men now. We were at 250. And like honestly, like Nisir, livestock, lead could be interesting. Wheat. Stalic, they have wine, wheat, fruit, copper, wheat, horses, wine, fiber crops, wool, iron, livestock. So, silver mine. I hate to say it, guys, but we are going to try to expand our gold mine there. We are up to +1 stability, so there's that at least. Albania grew. Ooh, the two Sicilies are now here. Okay, okay. Georgia, which we cited alliance within the last episode. It doesn't look like a whole lot's going on over here. I mean, the Timurs are huge. Muscovy doesn't look like they've expanded a ton. Smolensk, which I thought would be really interesting to try to see if we could, create Russia a different way, maybe. So we do have a lot of economic buildings going on at the moment, right? Gold mines, Tailors Guild, Tools Guild, hunting grounds. And part of that is to try to create a bigger jewelry industry, right? Not be so reliant on the Tailors Guild because of our dye situation. Now, still 16 years away. They have wool, copper, horses, cotton, fish, wheat, beeswax, and wool. I mean, 367 nobility insurgents. We lost more money. That's interesting. Down to 14.93. Okay. Well, we are spending more and more on, expenses for construction, I guess, although it says we have enough goods, so I would think they would modify that a little bit, but um hmm. We are back up to 250 men in our regiment. We're at about 53.17% in terms of our Casus Belli against Serbia. Serbia have any allies? Epirus is a subject, and they're allied with Upper Bavaria. Interesting. Muscovy has joined the Patriarchy of Tbilisi. I mean, that's unfortunate. And actually, you know what we'll do? Uh-huh. Okay, we can't improve our rapidity with Muscovy at all. I'm trying to improve our rapidity. I mean, I don't know how much we'll. I don't think we'll be able to improve our rapidity with Poland that much, but just try to remind them, hey guys, we're here, right? Essentially, that's what we're doing. We look at our control. Again, you can see it is starting to get better. It's not great, but it is getting better. Similarly, right, you can see the proximity is starting to very slowly. Again, Saffron is, it just flirts all the time with being unprofitable. So that's 15,000 people in it. Our commoners insurgents are down to 2.61%. So, but like the big issue is the fact that we lose only 0.24%. So that's every 4 months it goes down 1%. So something like the nobility is going to take a while to get rid of. It'd be 4% a year, so what, 5 years? At which point the commoners would be back up. So I mean, it is a bit of whack-a-mole right now until I can figure out how to get that more and more in line. We almost have 9,000 levies now. Constantinople's market is missing fruit, pearls, and pepper in the Tarnovo market. Okay, so building wise, right? Let's see, what would a bailiff cost me? There. Bailiff. One. 148. So a marketplace gives me pop assimilation speed plus 1%, trade capacity to owner plus 1, trade advantage plus 1, market access plus 50%, 0.5. So we are building a new marketplace in Tarnovo as well. So again, we are kind of going all in right now on the whole idea of improving the economy as much as we can, right? France has reintegrated those provinces. It's kind of cool to see the two Sicilies. I won't lie. Poland again is getting occupied by Bohemia, which what is interesting about that is the fact that we're allies with them, but they never seem to call me in. Nobility ally with the for power. The nobility often prove unruly subjects of the king, seeking to resist any infringement on their autonomy and seizing any opportunity to strengthen their position. This often includes making kamikaze with foreign powers. Recently, several key figures appear to have struck an agreement with Byzantium to advocate pro-Byzantine course of action in return for certain favors and promises. While not exactly treason, this favor is clearly detrimental to our interests. However, rating them in is likely to prove no easy matter. That's fine. I mean, it's probably going to cause the nobility insurgents to grow more, but that is treachery. I mean, it is. Where silver is worth 0.54. How many people do we have here? 298. In Rus, we have 379. Okay, so Jewelers Guild. 0.63. Drastar, we are building the Tools Guild. Schumann is almost 300 burgers. So there's a fear. Besides just being able to build more rapidly, right? Milwaukee has 300 professional soldiers. That's kind of depressing. But we lost a little bit of money there. Again, hopefully all of these buildings, the gold mines, the marketplace, so have some more trade capacity, the wild game, the tools. I don't think we're gaining quite what we thought we would from the fine cloth or the tailors guild. I hope all of that kind of combines to give us let's say 2 ducats worth, right? I mean, more would obviously be nice, but yeah, the ability is going up by 0.35 now. Wow. But what's interesting about that is when they're like well above 50%, the nobility insurgents still were there. So and I get right a little bit of being a king. There's always going to be probably sections of the nobility that doesn't like you, or a ruler or anybody who has power. Right? Yeah, power. People are going to want it. Tool Guild is going to be built in Drawstar as well. So I can appreciate that. I can. Um, at the same time, if it's going to go up by so much because their approval B is so low, then when it's 20% higher, shouldn't it not grow at all? I don't know. That's just me rambling a little bit. And again, my people suck. My advisors just flat out suck right now. I had two great ones. One committed suicide and one fell down the stairs. We're at about 71% on the Casus Belli against Serbia. We are up to +2 stability, so that part's nice. That didn't really didn't help our economy that much. 15.75. I mean, again, like the we need the worker. The RGO is not going to be fully staffed for quite a while, right? I get that. The city ones, though, that should take off a little bit quicker. Sin, it's an interesting name. Sindukar Stratsabir. Now, even though she's the first cousin, I have been told over and over again she is not close. They are not close enough for me to bury off. What is beeswax? Just out of curiosity, worth 0.19. Silver, we think is 0.53. Now we are going to try to manually export some things, right? I do try to manually trade, which it'd probably be much smarter be to let the game do it, but I have fun kind of micromanaging. I am a micromanager when it comes to video games, especially strategy games, so I kind of enjoy micromanaging. I don't know if probably doesn't make the gameplay very enjoyable for anybody else, but for me, it's how I like to play. little under a month on the marketplace, 4 months on the hunting ground, and a lot longer on the Jewelers Guild. I do think maybe in Schumann, the Naval Guild, potentially. We actually lost money. Interesting. Okay. I would have liked that to have gone the other way, but so maybe our attempts at economic growth are not going to do anything. I mean, we have rural cloth bakers. Okay, okay, so fiber crops farms do need livestock. I can appreciate that. Cost 34.29. We'll do that in this kibitz because we almost always have a crazy amount of livestock. And so that will hopefully drive up the cost a little bit. And then if we do start building ships, right, we will, need more and more fiber crops for the different materials that they produce. Here, like this is just painfully slow. Painfully slow. Okay, it's still 13.99. I don't remember if it was June earlier or not, so I can't tell whether or not that grew. We were supposed to increase the efficiency of our cabinet. I don't think their efficiency has increased at all, frankly, but I think we lost money again. We don't have freaking dies. If there's one thing that does piss me off, it keeps telling me import dies, import dies. I don't have dies. So why would I want to import them? Like, make that make sense, right? Yeah, livestock we have a lot of, but hopefully that helps a little bit there. Yeah, can't send fine cloth anywhere. Cloth by itself? No. Okay. Horses? We have 8.14. No real profit there. Livestock? No real profit there. Wool? No. Seriously? Like, okay, so we could get 0.5. A little bit of profit there. I mean, there's not a lot we can actually export that anybody wants. Weapons? No. Trade Edward, but our trade capacity has to suck. Because, like, none of this stuff is worth a damn thing. Okay, salt we could finally send. Oh, shit. The Ottomans finally occupied Constantinople in 1383. So what's crazy is our building maintenance really isn't increasing that much, but despite all of our efforts to improve our economy, it's also not going up. Try to mint a little bit more. We don't have dyes, so I like. I love how it is always telling me the fine cloth, and then also nobody wants fine cloth, like, or at least nobody in my market. So it's like, why do I want to build that? I don't want to build that, right? Like, saffron again is unprofitable. Roll cloth maker. Again, charcoal kiln, which is funny because it told me previously, right, that coal's not that in demand at the moment, but yet every place here is just like, hey, we need a charcoal kiln is a thing that's going to make us the most money. think I will build a bailiff out here. Because building the wild game to try to improve that. I mean, we do have stone down here, which is actually okay. Well, it's not that profitable, but since I think that's the only place in the country where we have wild game currently, I think again we lose money. It'd be nice to, from one of these buildings, right, to have actually made money. That would have been kind of cool. I mean, I know you have to pay the people, and it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. It's just like, damn. You would think that between all of this, like I'd make a tiny bit. What does the trade office do? Not a whole lot. Okay, a mission. Okay, religious conversion. I mean, that's not bad, but embassy. Where's the bailiff? Yeah, Caspina. 139. And the other thing that'll also help is give our biggest city more and more proximity and control, right? So in that regard, it makes ooh, there is a tiny bit of the Byzantine Empire left. I mean, basically Adrianople, right? And these two little provinces. So I think I'll try to gobble them up before the Ottomans. God, we just like stay at freaking. Irina is finally, we have a daughter now. So we are going to try to humiliate the Byzantine Empire. I mean, I feel like they're already kind of humiliated, but we did recall one of our diplomats. We're up to 4 stability. We do have a casus belli in Serbia now. We lost another 0.3 ducats because for a long time our diplomats have been worried King Ivan Alexander's Transmire's tendency to insult everyone and anything. They do not get a moment of rest as they to clean up all the messes our king leaves behind. The most recent ending came when our king inferior, the emissary of Count Guillaume of de Chatillon of Artois, to such an extent that he threw a tantrum during his visit. Never have any such insults been heard in our great halls. They gained a casus belli at us for 4 years. Well done. The good news is the commoners are finally going to be gone. At least temporarily, right? We're inching our way on South Oltenia. We still have West Butenia and Ishmael. I really don't understand. Though, I guess in a way, where all the money's gone? Like, we were supposed to make profits at all these buildings. We're not being told they're unprofitable. They're in cities and locations we have pretty good control in. And yet, all of our trades are making money. And yet we're losing money. Like, I get we're paying the workers and we have to pay the building maintenance, and that's good. And not all of them are going to make a ton of money. I can understand that as well. But all of them were supposed to be profitable. So, with that being said, how do you have negative 14 proximity? I'm really kind of curious about that because you're right here next to a place that is 20%, which should improve Cerdets, right? But somehow it doesn't, which is interesting. Yeah, we build a bailiff there too. I think we're gonna go broke building our bailiffs here in this episode because well, just because. I have 180 days of the fiber crop farms. Ooh, right. You can now crack down on the nobility, which is going down at 0.11%. That is freaking. Oh my god, that is okay. I mean, it's better than it not going down, sure. But wow. It's wow. Nicole is 9. Michael Ossett is 6. Stefan is 1. And Irina is 0. And we're going to build a bailiff at Perot. So we're down to 3.41 ducats. But we have 3 bailiffs being built, which does increase our noble's power, yes. Which is a little weird to do, right? When they're trying to uprise against me. I understand that. However, it helps with control and proximity, and that also helps with the income, right? You know, we got 17, 17, the 30s. So this part of Bulgaria and maybe this part of Bulgaria, will start to get more and more integrated, right? Hopefully. Obviously, might not be doing a lot of building in the next episode because we did so much of this episode, not that the economic buildings really have the desired outcome. I know we did increase our spending in terms of stability and the fortifications, which is fair. But I also feel like the buildings we built should have compensated for what we spent because it's not like we spent that much more. But, that's okay. But we are going to end the episode there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you are doing well. Stay safe. Take care. And I will talk to you all later. And we did build our jeweler. So we'll wait until April, right? Our jeweler has been built. That was supposed to make us a reasonable amount of money as well. Maybe, affect the price of gold a little bit. When we eventually get the fiber crop building built, that should hopefully impact maybe the price of livestock a little bit. And I know that's something we need to do as well, is continue to build out like how the different production chains, work. I do think in the next episode we'll probably have a war. I don't know if it'll be against Serbia. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it against the Byzantine Empire just because if I don't, I'm sure the Ottomans will take Adrianople, and I'm not obviously going to take Constantinople, but if I can take this little section here, which is going to put me on even more of a collision course with the Ottomans, I'm aware, but hey, we actually made a little bit of money. Look at that. That's cool. Anyways, thank you, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all later.